Welcome to this edition of the show. Smart nations are catching kids young, and I mean extremely young, whether it has to do with teaching them STEM or foundational literacy and numeracy skills. Today, I speak with an EdTech founder on how to ensure that kids are better educated leveraging technology. Let's kick off the show with some news and updates. This is Tech Trends, and I'm Chukwuemeka Agbata.
The internet at home disconnects me, but that's a thing of the past. Today, I found the great solution. With Connect, I can get internet from space. It's super fast satellite internet from Connect. It's great. I can get internet everywhere. It's super simple and super fast. It's Connect. Broadband up to 100 megabits per second. All this from 6,900 naira per month. Isn't it great? Go to connect.com.
If we can reduce the cost and improve the quality of medical technology through advances in nanotechnology, we can more widely address the medical conditions that are prevalent and reduce the level of human suffering.
It is within this environment that Wuni Bitrus and his team are providing young deaf kids an opportunity to be equipped with relevant tech skills. Founded in 2017, the Deaf Technology Foundation is located in the northern region of Jos, Plateau State. And children with hearing impairments from the ages of 5 to 19 years are given a chance to be trained in programming and robotics. The children come to the center ready to hone and show off their skills. One of the numerous projects they've created is this smart home.
Yeah, we try to make an automated house so that we'll show the world what the deaf can do. Yeah, so we automated the gate as well so that you don't have to get off the gate to get off your car and open the gate. We used ultrasonic sensor with Arduino board. When any object come close to the house, yeah, that gas sensor, if your gas cylinder has problem, and the alert will come off and people will see the light and know. Yeah. So and because the gate doesn't only allows the person's device that is paired to the gate, any other means the thieves try to access the house, the intrusion detector will just detect and sound an alarm. Yeah. So.
At the Technical Center, training is free and it's aimed at driving diversity and inclusion by building an ecosystem of young deaf software engineers and STEM experts that will give back to their community.
When I was serving at Zamfara, I met a young girl, and she was struggling with suicidal tendencies and loneliness and depression, and I was like, communication will have really, really solved all this because she's just alone at home. Nobody communicates with her. So I saw that there is something that could be done, and I should just take it upon myself to learn the sign language. And after I did, I now discovered that what other skills can I give her before I eventually leave, which is the one I have handy, which is computing skills. So we started, I had 2 laptops, I gave her the one, so she started learning how to program because where will they learn? There's virtually nowhere for them to learn. So when her friends heard that there's somebody who knows sign language now and has this skill, everybody, computer is glorious, everybody knows it, So, and they want to be part of it. So that was how they started coming in droves. And so we saw the need and decided that really they should be part of the tech ecosystem.
Some deaf children often suffer discrimination in school and are unable to study their courses of choice, especially those that are science-related, either due to lack of hearing aids, few inclusive schools, or just because they're deaf or hard of hearing. Wuni is hoping to change the narrative that science is not for the hearing impaired, and he says it all began in Zamfara State.
The only course they are allowed to study in Nigerian universities is special education. And it's unfair. And when we are talking, it's an untapped potential, talent pool. And so for us, it's like, let's explore this talent and see what they can bring to the table.
The trainings trigger and stimulate the creativity of the kids. It equips them with problem-solving skills, critical thinking, and teamwork.
When the work became so much on me in Zamfara, I had to quickly run to JOS. JOS is like the center of, unofficial center of persons with disabilities. Like, this is their headquarters, unofficial. So I saw that if I want to really provide the solutions for these ones, I couldn't do it alone. Well, I can empathize with them, but I don't really know how they feel. So the best thing is just to get somebody from the community so that we could establish this, start together, and see how it grows properly. So that was how I came to JOS. I met one of my deaf friends, so we started the organization together.
Even though funding was a key challenge for Wuni and his team as they bootstrapped this initiative, above it was the societal discrimination they had to battle with.
The society's attitudes towards the children, it's really, really alarming. For example, you see a deaf person operating phone and you'll be like, oh, can he operate phone? Yes, he has a brain, you understand. So those are, it took a long walk with the parents because eventually we had an association for them. The parents, they come together and we keep enlightening them of the problems of these children, and gradually they began to change their perception and begin to see that truly these children can do anything. Secondly, funding has been a big challenge. We try to shy away from that. We never write any fundraising. We never did any fundraising. It was just from our pocket because
DTF not also wants to increase the representation of the deaf community in STEM fields. It also wants to get involved in making inclusive decisions that will create access for them.
To mark the World Creativity and Innovation Day, the National Information and Technology Development Agency hosts this year's celebration to highlight the importance of digital innovation.
Special guests of honor on this occasion.
Tech experts, including the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Mr. Issa Pantami, are in attendance to underscore the importance of digital innovation to the growth of the nation's economy, and the latest addition to the industry is the proposed startup bill.
The administration has also come up with a bill to address the challenges being confronted by our young innovators in Nigeria. We have many of them. And that bill is Nigeria's Startup Bill. Part of it, the bill, when approved, will have a council where experts, government officials, and private sector will come together, discuss the challenges of innovation ecosystem in Nigeria, and at least present the solutions, and the solutions are going to be approved there and then.
The Creative and Innovation Day, which began fully last year, has already recorded quite a number of achievements.
The second one is an agri-tech startup which developed a solution and trained farmers in 3 states.
We have the Nigeria Startup Bill coming up, with the minister and DG NITDA are making a lot of effort to ensure that it's passed this year.
NITDA has the mandate to provide integrity tests for the University Transparency Accountability Solution, which was developed as a payment system by Academic Staff Union of Universities. The agency has identified some vulnerabilities with the platform, which ASU is kicking against. However, the Director General is refusing to give further details on their findings.
UTAS was developed in isolation, and for it to be accepted by the users, it has to go through a process whereby the user will tell the developer, I need this function, I need this functionality, I don't need this, I don't need that.
Nevertheless, the minister leads a team to assess innovations on display during the ceremony. Scientists in Australia are testing printed solar panels that were used to power a Tesla on a 15,100-kilometer journey beginning in September, which they hope will get the public thinking about steps to help avert climate change. The Charge Around Australia project will power a Tesla electric car with 18 of the team's printed plastic solar panels, each 18 meters long, rolling them out beside the vehicle to soak up sunlight when it needs a charge.
There'll be a connector at the end of the triangle.
Paul Daster, the inventor of the printed solar panels, said the University of Newcastle team would be testing not only the endurance of the panels, but their potential performance for other applications.
There's all the details that we're really interested in around the printed solar technology. How will it last during the journey, unrolling, how will the charging characteristics work in various parts of Australia. But if we think about it, if we take a step back and we think about what we're actually doing, we're taking a vehicle to the remotest parts of Australia, probably even the remotest parts of the world, and taking and charging it with a lightweight technology that can generate electricity from sunlight. It strikes me that this is actually an ideal test bed to give us information about how we would go about using and powering technology in other remote locations, for example, in space. So for us, I think this also provides a pathway to showing how printed solar can be used as energy generation, for example, for a mission to Mars.
Printed solar is a lightweight, laminated PET plastic that can be made at a cost less than $10 a square meter. The panels are made on a commercial printer originally used for printing wine labels. Daster said using panels to power a car would get Australians to think more about electric vehicles and could help ease their range anxiety.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that we show a Tesla driving around Australia, we show it being powered by Australian technology, brand new solar technology, I think it's going to do an awful lot in terms of raising the profile. And I think people want this. I think community is seeking these sorts of answers to the problems it's being presented with day in, day out around climate change.
On their 84-day Tesla journey, the team plans to visit about 70 schools to give students a taste of what the future may hold.
Coming up is my chat with Ogechi Ogbaragu, founder, Kids Read Art. Stay with us.
You'll be able to respond to that.
EdTech, that is, education technology, is nothing new, but the concept has fast become a buzzword as various schools and educators latch on to the e-learning platforms to help students have a more comprehensive learning process. Virtual classrooms are now a go-to system for schools to help bridge the widening learning gaps. Despite technological challenges faced, EdTech startups have come up with different ideas on digital platforms to help bridge the education gap and change the narrative in the EdTech space. Ogechi Ogbaragu, founder of Kids Read Art, joins us to discuss how technology can help enhance the learning process.
Ogechi, glad to have you on Tech Trends today.
It's my pleasure to be here with you, CFA.
So start by telling us how technology can help the education sector.
In so many ways right now, because with the recent developments since COVID, it had helped us to realize that we need technology in our daily lives. With how all the trends, everybody had to move to the online space. It helped us to see the benefits of involving technology in all we were doing. Offices and spaces, everything went to the online space. Schools moved to the online space. Even those that didn't have the knowledge were forced to learn the skills on how to use technology.
Awesome, Ogechi. Now, you mentioned, during COVID. Now, what I noticed is that a lot of schools went online or used digital tools just because they didn't have an option. But COVID ended and many of them have gone back to their old ways. Is that what you also observed?
A lot of schools did go back to their old ways, but at the same time, some still continued using technology because a lot of startups were being born within that period. And so we're now there's now a blend between having to use technology in the classroom and the old ways. So it's not exactly, they're not going back to the old ways per se. They're now trying to bring about a blend between both families together, the technology aspect, and you still doing their classroom method or whatever they're doing in the classroom, but they're trying to imbibe it into their system right now. So I don't think technology is not leaving the educational sector anytime soon. It's here to stay.
Now, some teachers have said that there is an overemphasis on the students and they are all being neglected, because most of the investment and most of the conversion happens on the student side. How can we ensure that we also carry the teachers and other stakeholders along in this whole train of technology and education? Okay, so, our teachers have been used to the old ways of just going to the classroom to deliver lessons. So now we're trying to get teachers to look outside the box, not just limit yourself with just delivering lessons in the classroom. We're also trying to encourage them to use technologies in the classroom, whereby instead of having to stand in front of the classroom every single day teaching your kids, you can find a way of recording your lessons and putting it across to the classrooms, even when you're not present. The fact that technology is here within the school, you're not just basing it only on the pupils or the kids per se. We're now encouraging teachers to develop lessons for their classrooms that could also be sold outside their schools, like lessons that can be used by different schools, even though they are teachers in a particular school. Now we're encouraging teachers to go, like presently we have so many startups now that are encouraging teachers to have online lessons. So you can see now, we're not focusing just on the kids alone, we're also trying to get the teachers to come on board and get the benefit of using technology in their everyday life. Okay, I know you mentioned that you're an early years teacher, right?
Yes, I am.
I'm just wondering whether Nigeria as a country is doing enough to catch the young kids early, especially when it comes to STEM and technology. What is your view?
A lot of startups presently are trying to introduce STEM into our various curriculums and all that. But, it now comes to the school themselves. What are the schools doing about it? Some schools don't know the ideas about don't have the knowledge about STEM. They're used to their regular lessons. Most times they keep asking, where do they fit it in? And sometimes for some schools, the international schools that are very aware of it, they include it as an extracurricular activity. So the kids go to the STEM club and carry out one practical, and that's the end. So we want it to be much more personalized for these kids, whereby individual children or the kids within the club or the classroom get to work with these resources themselves. But in most cases, it isn't so, because rather what you get in most school environment is the person in charge carrying out the experiments, and doing what he or she wants to do before the kids, and maybe encourage the kids, some of the kids, and guide them into doing some. Now, these apply in only few schools, not all schools. So that's why I use some schools. Why some other schools don't even have an idea of what STEM is all about.
So how are you dealing with the issue of funding?
Very, very difficult. Like, it's a challenge of its own. It's like a very, very big mountain to climb, which we're trying to climb, and we've been climbing that. So we've been quite fortunate. Like, when we started up, we used a lot of our savings and investment from our families and friends. And because, going into the technology space, it's not a piece of cake. It involves a lot of investment. Since I started this journey, I know how much we've invested into this business, and still investing and still looking for. So we spend every single day. There are bills to pay. There are so many, in fact, so many subscriptions to pay and all that. But we're grateful to God that in the midst of it all, he has been making a way for us.
Okay, finally, as a woman in technology, because you've made a move as a teacher, now you're a woman in technology, how has it been, and what is your advice to more women who are also in other spaces that may want to come into technology?
Okay, when I started out, I didn't know what tech was all about. In fact, I had nothing.
How long ago was that?
I think I started 2020 when I came into FI. FI was what even introduced me to the technological aspect of what I was doing, where we started calling ourselves the EdTechs. EdTech and all that. So I got to know about that within FI. I started researching more, I started reading more. And in the course of while I was building my platform, most of the terms, I started becoming familiar with most of the terms that were being used. So I knew what was front end, back end, and the codes and all that. So I began to get an idea of what it entailed. Though it wasn't easy, it wasn't at all. But I think we're growing, we're learning, we're getting better, and we're also getting there.
All right, Ogechi, thank you. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And I also encourage more women to come into the space, because right now we're just very few of us within the space. So we want as much as we can, more teachers, more women into this space, because the space is just being dominated by the men. And it's not fair on us. So we want more of us to come in as much as you can.
Well, I'm sure more women are watching this show now, and they'll certainly come with time. Ogechi, thank you for being on the show today. Wish you all the best.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure talking with you, CFE.
Same here. My guest has been Ogechi Obaragu, founder, Kids Read Art. And as I've heard from her, the government needs to do a lot more to support EdTech startup, as this will help them tackle more challenges in the educational sector. We've come to the end of the show, but it doesn't end here. The conversation continues online. Check out the show on Channels TV, YouTube, or cfablog.ng. For Tech Trends, I'm Chukwuemeka Agbata.